3 days per week by December 31. Hopefully, these 7 examples give you an idea of how to create SMART goals that lead to a balanced life. Now let's go over a 6-step process that will turn this information into action. Step number 1, identify what's important to you. The key to achieving meaningful goals isn't to focus on all of the areas of your life. The reason is simple: if you want to find meaning in what you do, then you'll quickly feel overwhelmed if your days are fixated on a laundry list of goals. Yes, it's important to be forward-thinking, but you also want enough time to live in the present moment. Our advice is to focus on 3 to 4 areas of your life. You can do this by looking at the 7 areas we've discussed and identifying what's most important to you right now. From there, simply create goals that tap into an outcome you find both challenging and exciting. Step number 2, focus on 3-month goals. It's been Steve's experience that long-term goals are constantly shifting. What seems urgent today often isn't important next month. So the strategy that works for him is to take the major priorities in his life and then break them down into 3-month, or quarterly, goals. Why should you focus on 3-month goals? Because your life is fast-paced and constantly shifting. In order to keep up with all these changes, it's often better to create goals for the short term because this helps maintain consistent effort and a high level of motivation. It's also been Steve's experience that lengthy goals, i.e., anything over 6 months, are often demotivating. When you know an outcome is months away, it's easy to procrastinate on taking consistent action. You keep putting off your goals, promising you'll work on them next week. Next thing you know, it's a year later and nothing has been accomplished. So to keep things simple, we recommend identifying the 3 to 4 areas of your life that are most important to you right now, and then creating a specific SMART goal for each one that you hope to achieve within the next 3 months. Step number 3, use a weekly review to create a schedule. It's not always easy to consistently work on your goals when you have a dozen other obligations. Fortunately, there is a simple solution to this dilemma. Schedule a weekly review session where you create a daily action plan for the next 7 days. The weekly review is a great concept that David Allen teaches in Getting Things Done. It's a simple process. Once a week, Steve prefers Sundays, look at the next 7 days and schedule the activities/projects you'd like to accomplish. You can accomplish all of this with 3 simple steps. 1. Answer 3 questions. Think carefully about the next 7 days and answer these 3 questions. What are my personal obligations? What are my priority projects? How much time do I have? Your responses to these questions are extremely important because they will determine the amount of time that can be devoted to your goals during the next 7 days. The lesson here is that you shouldn't schedule your week with hundreds of activities. That's the quickest path to leading a mentally cluttered life. Instead, it's better to recognize, ahead of time, a realistic amount of time that can be dedicated to your important goals. 2. Schedule project tasks. After answering these 3 questions, map out the next 7 days. The simplest way to do this is to look at the list for each goal and schedule time to follow up on the most important activities. 3. Process captured ideas. If you're like Barry and Steve, then you probably have dozens of great ideas every week related to your goals. The question is, how do you follow up on them? My advice is to process these notes, making one of 2 choices. 1. Take action on it immediately, or 2. Schedule a time when you'll follow up on it. Here's how that would work. If the idea is actionable, then write out a step-by-step plan for how you'll do it. Simply write down a series of actions you'll take on this idea and then schedule these ideas into your week. If the idea is not actionable, then put the idea into an archive folder that's reviewed every month. If you do this for every idea you have, you won't forget to follow up at the right time. The weekly review is an important part of achieving your goals. When you plan out each week, you create a sense of urgency, making it more likely you will follow up on each goal. Your weekly review will also help you create a schedule you can turn into a list of daily activities. Step number 4, Take action on your goals. It's impossible to achieve your goals without action. In fact, the trick to getting what you want is to schedule time into your week that's solely dedicated to your goals. That's why we recommend the following actions. Turn your goal into a project. The easiest way to do this is to look at the target date and work your way backward. Visualize reaching this milestone. What are the specific steps you completed to get to this point? Once you identify the actions, you simply put them down into a simple, step-by-step list. Schedule time to work on goals. How much time you spend on each goal depends on what's required for each activity. Some tasks might only require a few minutes each week, while others require hours of your day. That's why it's important to understand the time commitment of each goal. Figure out how much time you'll need for each task and schedule them into your week. Turn goals into priority tasks. We all have those busy schedules full of activities that conflict with one another. The solution? Start your day by working on goals first thing in the morning, or some other time when you feel the most energetic. Schedule time for single actions. Many people get bogged down by the single actions that are important but not immediately urgent. A quick fix for this is to schedule time each week to complete a number of single actions. The tool that Steve uses for these single actions is the Todoist app. Whenever he sets a 3-month goal, he creates it as a project in Todoist and then he adds all the single actions that are required to achieve it. Finally, he schedules specific actions into his weekly calendar. For more on how to do this in Todoist, here is a comprehensive guide they put together that will walk you through the entire process. Step number 5, review your goals. The key to achieving anything in life is consistency. That's why you should review your goal project on a daily basis and make sure you're hitting every important milestone. We recommend creating specific measurements for each step of the process and using a weekly review to make sure you're touching on those as well. Setting aside time for a daily review is a key step to achieving any goal. It doesn't matter how busy you are, if you are not reviewing your goals every day, you will be less likely to succeed. The truth is, sometimes life can throw major curveballs in your pursuit of a long-term objective. Often, these challenges can be frustrating and cause you to feel less excited about a goal. So our advice is simple: review your goals at least 2 to 3 times per day. That way, you can keep them at the forefront of your mind and remind yourself why you're taking a specific action on a daily basis. Step number 6, evaluate your quarterly goals. You work hard on your goals every day. You even review them on a weekly and daily basis. The problem? Some people never take a step back and understand the why behind each goal. In other words, people don't review their goals to see if they're actually worth pursuing. That's why it's important to evaluate your goals every 3 months, make sure they are aligned with your life purpose, and then create new goals based on what you've learned. You can complete this evaluation by answering a number of questions. Have I attained the desired outcome? What were the successful and unsuccessful strategies? Did I put 100% of my effort toward completing these goals? If not, why? Have I achieved results consistent with my efforts? Should I create a similar goal for the next quarter? What goals should I eliminate or alter? Is there anything new I'd like to try? Even though it takes a few hours to complete this evaluation, you should always take time to do it every quarter. It will be your ultimate safeguard against wasting time on a goal that doesn't align with your long-term plans. So, that was a brief introduction to the value of setting SMART goals. Now, the best way to make sure you're actually setting goals that you truly want is to connect them with a personal passion. In the next, and final, strategy we will show you how to do this. Strategy number 4, connect goals to your passions. Too many people live lives of quiet desperation. They wake up with a low-level sense of dread, anxiety, or sadness. At work, they feel underutilized, unappreciated, and underwhelmed. And when they get home, they feel mentally and physically exhausted, with just enough energy to take care of the kids, fix a meal, and plop onto the couch to watch a few hours of television. Then they wake up and do it all over again. Even if this doesn't describe you exactly, I'm sure you can relate. We all get in the occasional rut. We accept less than our dreams. We stay in jobs that don't inspire us or make us happy. All of this angst adds to our mental clutter and distraction. Life has a way of swallowing us up, and before we know it we're far down a path that feels nothing like who we are or what we want for our lives. By the time we realize it, we have obligations and responsibilities that add yet another reason to stick with the status